Hello and welcome to Notes on Film. My name is Josue Peralta. This is day 9 of 10 as we review this year's Academy Award nominees for Best Score and Best Picture. Today's film is F1, directed by Joseph Kosinski. The composer for F1 is Hans Zimmer. He has worked with Kosinski once before with Top Gun Maverick. I won't go into details on his accolades. Everybody should know who he is. And if you don't know who he is, stay tuned because I will be reviewing the biggest scores from the biggest composers of all time, him being one of them. I have a lot to say about the music in this movie, so let's go ahead and jump right in with a little bit of a movie recap for some context. F1 tells the story of a seasoned driver who gets tapped on the shoulder to come mentor and help a beleaguered F1 team to see if he can take their star to the next level. As it happens, the old guy still has some gas in the tank and shows that by showing the new dog some tricks, as well as winning the last race of the season in grand fashion, the end. I know it's pretty reductive, but I just want you to know that it's a comeback movie, it's a racing movie, and it's a tension-filled movie. So all those three elements we're going to find in the score and in the music somehow. With that out of the way, let's jump into the music with first the soundtrack, that is to say not the score, but the soundtrack by various artists. But before I do, let me put on my Clark Kent glasses, just in case I'm too critical. I can say it was the other guy and that it wasn't me. Like I said, let's first talk about the soundtrack by various artists. The very first one is called Lose My Mind by Don Toliver featuring Doja Cat. That one I would also include as part of the score itself because it was partly produced by Hans Zimmer himself. This one acts as the song for the movie. This is the one that if you had to appoint one, this one would be it. And it is absolutely fantastic, off the walls, home run. Out of the 17, 7 of these were bangers in my book, a 41% hit rate, which is unheard of. And this one was amazing. Like I said, leading off. The next ones, I mean, I'll just read them all off, but just so you kind of get a picture, and then I'll show you, or then I should say, which ones are my favorite. Like I said, the first one is Lose My Mind by Don Toliver. The second one is No Room for a Saint, Dom Dolla featuring Nathan Nicholson. Drive by Ed Sheeran. Just Keep Watching by Tate McRae. Messy by Rosé. Don't Let Me Drown by Burna Boy. Underdog by Roddy Ricch. Grandma Calls the Boy Bad News by Ray or Reggie, I'm not sure. Bad As I Used to Be by Chris Stapleton. Baja California by Mike Towers, OMG by Tiesto and Sexy Red. All at Once by Madison Beer. Dance by Peggy Gou. Double C by Posa. Attention by Mr. Easy. Give Me Love by Darku. And Gasoline by Obon Giabar. Something to that effect. Okay, so I'm not one to listen to a lot of secular music, so I don't know 90% of these artists, so forgive me if I just don't. So the first one that I enjoyed from this album was, like I said, Lose My Mind. The next, people really like Drive by Ed Sheeran for some reason. That one did not really speak out to me. Just Keep Watching was like a white girl anthem of sorts. The other one that I liked was Don't Let Me Drown by Burna Boy. Apparently he's really big. Like I said, I don't know a lot of these guys. Baja California was interesting. All at Once by Madison Beer was really weird, but another white girl guilty pleasure. The other one that I liked was, I think or did I already mention it? Bad As I Used to Be by Chris Stapleton. And I think that one was it. 7 out of 17 is not a bad hit rate. I think if you're into this kind of music anyway, it'll hit. Whoever was the music director or whoever chose these people to write for the movie, I think they did a hell of a job because it worked really, really, really well in the film. And each one was apt and appropriate at the time where it was supposed to be. And it kind of worked out like that. So home run for everybody involved. Okay, now on to the score by Hans Zimmer. Firstly, how it played within the movie. This one was electric. This is the first time I've ever heard Hans Zimmer take a completely different approach than I've ever heard him take in a movie like this, where he's usually heavy on the strings, heavy on the piano, and he can pull your heartstrings any which way. He did take an experimental approach with Dune, which I liked, but that's an entirely different genre, an entirely different vibe. This is the first time I've ever heard Hans Zimmer just go crazy when it comes to synth, when it comes to techno, and a little bit of rock in here too. But mostly this is a techno album. And like I said, I'm not used to hearing Hans Zimmer produce this kind of music at all, or write this kind of music ever. And the fact that it works so well speaks to just how versatile he is and how good he is at his craft. The leitmotif for this movie, I think there was one and then another main theme. So there was 1.5, 2, I'm not sure. But the point is that the way that he wove them in throughout how they played in the movie was just so good, where you could, the emotional moments hit with some power. The driving itself, my hands were sweating because I was like, man, I kind of want to be behind the wheel of that. And the tension and how it worked with the cameras and everything like that, it was just so marvelous. I came out of the theater wanting to see it again. In fact, I think I saw this 3 times in the theater. Once with my neighbor, once with my buddy who I usually go see movies with, and then I think the third time I saw it by myself again, or something like that. But it was just so good that it was worth watching 3 times in the theater. And like I said, that was in no short part due to Hans Zimmer's score within the movie and how it worked. It was marvelous. I'm running out of adjectives. I'm running out of words. I'm running out of ways to just say how much I enjoyed it thoroughly. And if you haven't seen this movie at all, trust me, you will see what I mean when you watch it. Trust me, it is really, really that good. Now let's talk about the score as a standalone album. This one works marvelously. There are 2 albums to listen to. The very first is called the F1, the album, obviously the music album, which has all of the soundtrack in it. And then a couple weeks later, which, oh my gosh, so it wasn't the first time when it came to Wuthering Heights. I think I said that in that video, but it wasn't correct. For F1 as well, the score by Hans Zimmer was also pushed a couple of weeks, and that one's called the cinematic album. So that's 2. Actually, there's 3. And then the third one is just the score by itself. They each have different art, so it's easy to distinguish in that way. But so there is one with just the soundtrack. There's one with the cinematic one is the one with both of them. And then if you go on just Hans Zimmer's page, you'll see the one with just the score. So if you want to just experience all of it, go ahead and go to the cinematic one. But let's talk about just the score album itself. The score album itself plays like you are in a driving movie, because you are. Now, I made the mistake or the great decision of listening to this full while I was driving. So maybe it was dangerous in that, but I wanted to put my foot pedal to the metal because I felt like I was flying. The music made me feel like I was in the movie. The music made me feel like I was the best driver around, and it was awesome. It was awesome to experience myself driving to that. Like I said, it can be dangerous if you have no self-control. Luckily, I have a little bit of that. But suffice it to say that this is a banger all the way around. This one is a hit as a standalone album. Even the slow moments, pensive moments, have the leitmotif play softly to remind you of. I wrote it in the notes for one of the songs, but it was kind of like a Lion King rematch, or like a callback of like remember who you are moment in the slow moments. So that was really nice that even in the low parts, it won't let you forget who you are. And again, this is speaking to the mentor coming back to, or the old guy coming back to mentor. So it works really, really well. This is one that I will definitely come back to 100%. Time and time again, I will come back to this to just enjoy. And if I ever want to feel dangerous on the road while driving 70 miles an hour on the dot, I will do that. Because it was just so good. Like I said, I'm running out of words, but this is one for the ages, 100%. All right, so let's talk about standouts. There are a lot here, so I will have to go fast, but suffice it to say, you do need to listen to this one for yourself because it really is that good. Let's start with the very first one called F1. This one sets the tone immediately. It establishes the leitmotif, it gets the tension right, and it feels like starting your engine. The starting your engine thing is actually something that runs through the album and a lot of the songs, that you don't notice it necessarily while you're watching the movie because they're running their engines, or they're starting their engines, or they're starting something. But when you're actually just listening to the music, you can hear that and you can feel that, and that's awesome. The second one that's really good is Anything You Wish You'd Done Differently. This one felt like more heartfelt, like a leitmotif from the past, as if like the fighter where the driver's always been there, but he hasn't been able to show that. I like that one a lot. All right, so for the third one is number 3. It's called Run for the Podium. This one is where the techno starts. Like heavily, I should say. It's like starting up your engine, I wrote down. You feel like you're fighting for position. There's a lot of tension, and also as if you're racing in style. That one was a great way to just ramp it all the way up. Like we were really going through things. And that was awesome. The next banger is called Drive Fast, number 6 on the album. That one, again, I heard turning on your engine. We're going fast right away. We're not playing any games. I wrote that we are locked the F in. No mercy, no holds barred. And this is where something clicked. Joseph Kosinski also had amazing techno music for one of his other films. Tron Legacy also had a wonderful techno score. Is this something he requested? I don't know, because whatever it is, it works great in all of his racing movies. I'm struck, right? So with Tron, you got, light cycles. For this one, you have F1 cars, but they work great in both. If that was his idea, let's go. If it was Hans's idea to be like, oh, let me do a callback to that, what's up? They know what they're doing. I also heard making progress in this one. I heard having fun while winning in all caps. There's also like it slows down for a little bit, hell of a respite, and then I heard explosions, kind of like when you hear like like an exhaust go. Doo, 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 doo. That was so good. I'm like, what? Heard a lot of booms, has me believing that I can do that. Tension, more effing winning. Heard the electric guitar that came in and had like a little bit of a solo. Oh, not really. Well, I mean, I guess I had a little bit of a solo for some oomph. That one was dope. I'm getting heated. There's so much I could say, but I have to keep this to a manageable size for consumption. I am loving this all the way through. The next one is Tell Me About Kate. That one obviously is more about the lady. It's more hopeful, more techie notes. Keep It in One Piece has a little bit of a clock, like racing against time. Has some rising action, which falls again. That one reminded me of not Inception, Interstellar, for obvious reasons. No One Drives Forever. That one feels like a comeback that rises all the way back up. You hear the leitmotif back in full force, and then I put like baby, like I was vibing with it super hard. And it felt like a resolution of an emotional toll for that one. That one was awesome. Number 10, Lining Up for the Grid. I heard that one was just it felt like a one last ride, but we're better now. So the engines are starting up and you feel like you have actually a chance to win this time. That one was great to hear. It's All Just Noise is the calm before the storm. And the storm, because it just ramps up and it stays at 11 the rest of the time. That one is a solid vibe until the main theme pops up. And then it's ball up top. Let's go. Number 12, Elbows Out. This one it's game time, starting up the engine, but more upbeat this time. I heard more racing beats. The leitmotif was great to hear. And okay, here, I was going to say before, but I'll say it here. The fact that the leitmotif appears in so many different forms and in different songs makes the listening experience of this one as a standalone album just much more enjoyable, because it's its own standalone story, and that's awesome. I heard overcoming stuff, cars running in the background through repetition, like I don't know how to do it, but that was just too good. The techno is back full force, and it was awesome, which made me think of fight mode activated. We are fighting hard. I was vibing super hard. The drums here coming in. The synth is just out of this world. Awesome. And oh yeah, man, we are racing. Then 13, there's only 15, but I'm almost naming them all here. 13 is called Red Flag. Again, we're back to the ticking clock, which is raising the stakes. This isn't going to be easy. I heard a lot of locking back into home, with the leitmotif coming back in hard as hell, and as a motivator and a remember who you are moment. That was awesome to hear. The last one that is part of the racing is called 3 Laps is a Lifetime. And in this one, I heard Like we're just fighting. This is no longer a game. We are fighting hard, and it is going hard, and I am going hard. The techno is back, and it was great. The transitions go hard, so there's like switch ups in the song that I don't know how to explain. I don't know what they're called, but they're great here. It happens multiple times. It sounds like part of it sounds like great, like exhaust, and then more fighting again. We're locked back in again. A huge emotional high. The tension is tight. And then, oh yeah, baby, we are flying. We are flying, and I heard all of it in this one. This one was amazing. I could not believe myself what I was hearing. The last one is See You Down the Road. In this one, the fight is over. I felt like I was complete now. The leitmotif of back once again is Take Us Home. And then it just did it one more time to kind of just remind us of everything that we had gone through in this wonderful, emotionally full and rich experience. And then it just trails off beautifully into the sunset, just like him. The end. I was shocked. I was in love, and I could not have speak higher of this. I just could not have spoken higher of it. Now, with critic part done, let me go ahead and give my final thoughts on the F1 score by Hans Zimmer. All right, so whereas an 8, 9, or 10 is the Hall of Fame, an 8 is elite, 9 is legendary, and 10 is immortal, this one gets a full 9. This one is absolutely, no matter what, legendary. It really does take it to the new level. It is worth that legend status, and it's one that I will be coming back to maybe a couple times a year. This one shoots up in the rankings of all of Hans Zimmer's scores, and it's one that I thoroughly enjoyed. I will say that this one I think was a snub for best score. Maybe the Academy doesn't like racing movies or something like that. And to be honest, I think they're maybe just too tired of Hans Zimmer always getting a nomination and always winning or whatever. I don't know. Well, he hasn't always won, but his scores are just so good and so iconic that it would almost feel like, oh yeah, well, of course he got it. But still, this one deserved a nomination at the very least, and I'm shocked and saddened that it didn't. This might deserve its own video, but if I had to rank this score based on the other top 10 of the year, like I said, like the 5 best scores and the remaining 5 for best picture come all being best picture candidates, this one would be in the top 5, if not top 3. It was really good. If you know what, if maybe even top 2, it was amazing. I really loved it. I don't know what else I could say. I hope my enthusiasm got across, and I hope that you get a chance to listen to this one because it is really that good. But those are my thoughts on the F1 score by Hans Zimmer. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are down below. While you're down there, the subscribe and the like button works too, so I would love for you to click on those buttons if you enjoyed it and want to see more. You can also find me on Instagram at It's Attractive, where you can send me any suggestions of what other scores you'd like me to cover. I'm looking forward to Hans Zimmer's next score later this year, as he does a score for Dune Chapter 3. That one's going to be amazing. Number 1 was good. The second one was even better, and he also did like standalone albums for just the vibe of the different of the Dune diaspora or story in general, and those are very long albums, but I listened to all of them and they were all amazing. So I'm really looking forward to his one for Dune 3. But that's all I got for today. I will see you all later for day 10 as we reviewed the last movie for this year's Academy Award nominees for Best Score and Best Picture. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I will see you all then. Take care. Peace.